before the video starts, guys, if you want to go skip to a specific part of the guide, or you don't want to like read about the basics of how Unholy changed, all the timestamps are down below in the comments, and I'll put them in the description as well. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and peace. G'day guys, MFWest here, and today we have a PvP guide for the pre-patch. Now, with BFA around the corner, basically 3 weeks away, it's important that this guide is basically just a survival guide for the pre-patch, and a basis for you to get an understanding of Unholy and BFA. From the pre-patch, for Unholy anyway, not much will be changing. We'll be getting Azurite traits, and I guess understanding what our stat priority for Arena and BGs would be is something that will change, but in terms of gameplay, nothing much will change at all unless they do some drastic changes between now and then. You never know, but I will keep you guys updated. I'm going to split this guide into about like 3 sections. The first one going over the major changes to Unholy in PvP, right? Brief discussion, followed by talents for Arena, talents for Battlegrounds, and then I have some clips for you guys I've been collecting over the last few days of me in Arena, showing you guys how to use your abilities and just how Unholy works right now, because it is quite different to how it was in Legion. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into the first part. Alright, so the first thing that has changed about Unholy is Unholy Frenzy. It's no longer a 58 talent, I believe it was. It's now our last road talent, and it's now cooldown, a 1.3 minute cooldown. Incites you into Killing Frenzy for 12 seconds, increasing your haste by 20%, very important to note that, and causing your auto attacks to infect the target with a festering wound. This is amazing. Right now, Unholy, one of the major changes is that our highest damage right now is Virulent Plague damage, which is buffed by Airborne Fever, of course, and our second highest damage is white auto attack damage. Very, very important. So this is basically going to buff this shit out of our white auto attacks. And the wounds is just like an added bonus. So the wounds is great because we can just spam Necrotic Strike endlessly, and it's very, very good. The 20% haste is great. It just means that you can pop your wounds faster and get those necrotic stacks onto the target. Overall, great synergy with necrotic strike. Sorry, guys. Second change, I have to admit, would be Soul Reaper. Completely changed again. The main important thing to note about this ability is to not use it on cooldown. You want to be saving it when all your runes are on cooldown. You want to pop this ability to gain 2 runes back. Here's an example. You use all your runes to put necrotic strike stacks on the target. All your runes are on cooldown. You pop Soul Reaper to gain back 2 runes, and then again reapply your 2 necrotic strikes to the enemy healer or DPS, whatever it may be. The damage is not significant. It's okay, but again, you're using it as a way to reset your runes. Very important to note that, guys. Next thing I need to note is that Death Pact. Now, this is a ability I'm on the fence about. Why? Because it's a great heal, right? 50% of your maximum HP. But the next part of it is why I'm on the fence. Absorbs incoming healing equal to 30% of your max HP for 15 seconds. So basically, think of it as a 30% healing reduction for 15 seconds for your healer. In dampening, this is so bad. Like, you have to be very careful when using this ability. If anything, right now in the pre-patch, use it earlier on. If you have an option to use AMS or Death Pact earlier on in the game, use Death Pact, because your healer will not be able to top you with this debuff on you in like 20% dampening. It is horrible, and yeah, I feel bad for your healer, because trust me, I've experienced it, and a very, very bad ability to use in late dampening. The good thing is that because this ability is on the fence, Spell Eater actually is becoming a much... I take this ability mostly against casters. Like, Death Pact is just not as good. Spell Eater is much more efficient against casters in 2v2, and even Spell Cleaves in 3v3. Alright, guys, and the next ability I think is very important that has changed is Death Advance. So we've gained Death Advance. Its passive is that we cannot be slowed below 70% of normal speed, and it's okay. It's a 45-second cooldown where we get our speed increased by 30%, and we can't be slowed below 100%. One thing that I do miss from Wraithwalk, yes, there is something I miss about Wraithwalk, is that we can break out of roots. Death Advance will not break you out of roots, guys. It just stops knockbacks, and yeah, but you can't be slowed below 100%. It's a good addition, and I don't see a game or an arena where you'll be taking Wraithwalk over one of these 2 talents. It's just, You need to take one of your defensive CDs. It's very, very important. So unfortunately, we lose the ability to break out of roots, which is okay. The next thing, guys, all serve is no longer our go-to because of the fact that it's bugged. The AI is very buggy at the moment. If you tell it to stop attacking a target, it just never attacks again. And Blizzard did announce about a month and a half ago that they will be looking into changing this ability. They think it's very underwhelming, because it is, and right now you just don't take it because of how buggy it is, but overall it's a pretty good talent in Arena and is doing really good damage. So Infected Claw is the go-to there, but I'll go over that more in the talents. And those are pretty much the major changes, guys. Another thing I might add is that Unholy Mutation got changed. Those little blobs that would chase people if your Virulent Plague was dispelled, gone. The new ability is really great. I like it. Virulent Plague now erupts for 400% of normal eruption damage when dispelled or expires. And targets struck by this eruption have their movement speed reduced by 50% for 6 seconds. So an added slow in there, which is really, really great. When it explodes, it slows everything in its radius, which is great. And otherwise, Ghoulish Monstrosity, we only can use at 111, and it's currently not working on the beta, so I cannot say. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much the same, guys. So without further ado, let's get straight into the talent setup for Arena. Arena talents, boys. I've done a lot of games for Arena so far in the pre-patch, and the main thing to understand is that many classes are overtuned and undertuned. Rogues are absolutely bonkers. Like Garrote and Rupture being their top damage is just mind-blowing for me, and it literally, like, their opener Garrote does half of my HP. So many classes are overtuned like that, so don't take it as a grain of salt, and just remember how your class is playing, because that's what will stay the same at 120, and classes will be tuned and not be completely over, like, OP in the pre-patch. So just remember that. So Infected Claws on the first row, it's just doing a lot of damage. Clawing Shadows damage is still a bit nerfed in Arena, that I find, but still a decent option against a lot of casters. Next row, I heard Bursting Swords at 120 is doing ridiculous amounts of damage. I can believe that, but for the time being, Ebon Fever is just, it's amazing. Virulent Plague is our top damage at the moment in Arena, and I will show you guys my damage breakdowns for the arenas soon. Next row, Asphyxiate, 100%, is amazing in Arena. It's our reliable stun that we have. Next row, sorry, but it does damage, it gives us runes back, and it's on a pretty small cooldown, so yep, I think it's a really good ability. And the other two, Harbinger of Doom is tempting, because more sudden Doom procs means more Death Claws in Arena, but Death Claw is no longer our top damage ability in Arena, so I'm less inclined to take it now and stick with Soul Reaper. Next row, you heard me discuss this before, Death Pact is still very strong against, like, rogues and that you can actually just Death Pact their damage earlier on in Arena, but be very careful when popping this in dampening. Spell Eater, I recommend taking this against casting comps. It's better than Death Pact overall. Next row, yeah, so we actually have to incorporate D&D and stuff now. If you do see targets clumping up, I recommend just taking Pestilence, because it has a 10% chance to apply a Festering Wound to, it could be 2 or 3 enemies in Arena. Like, if you see them clumping up, Pestilence is great. Put D&D down, you might get a few wounds on both of them. Wounds are damage, there's no problem with that. Would not recommend taking Epidemic in 2v2 or 3v3, unless you were really trying to, like, experiment with a rock comp, but I think Pestilence is better at this point. And the final row, Unholy Frenzy is amazing. Army of the Damned, more of a PvE talent. And Gargoyle, I haven't really tried, but honestly, the Unholy Frenzy boosting your auto attack damage is huge, and synergizes so well with Necrotic Strike. You have to take this. It's too good. And the cooldown on Gargoyle is just it's very long. You'd only get like one off in Arena, and if you don't get a kill in that window, it's just not worth it. So in terms of your PvP talents for Arena, Gladiator's Medallion still very strong. If you are an Orc, you can take Relentless, but remember the Orc racial did get nerfed, and yeah, depends on what you're playing against, to be honest, guys. Pandemic is still your go-to talent when you're fighting against anything. So if you're fighting a healer that isn't a Mistweaver or a Resto Druid, you take Pandemic. If you're fighting a Resto Druid or Mistweaver, you take Crypt Fever. Those are the two things that you do there. In 2v2, I would not recommend picking up any of the auras. They're okay, but these talents right now are boosting our plague damage, and that's more important than just the passive aura. In 3v3 though, you do have to take one of these auras depending on what you're playing with, so that's very important to note. Unholy Mutation, guys, is doing some serious work. When this thing, I'll show you guys in a few videos just now, but if this thing, when it pops, it does some serious damage, and it is actually reducing the movement speed of your targets. And Holy Paladins, who have that talent that can dispel diseases, an amazing counter to Holy Paladins, this talent. So, but against other comps, if they're not, I mean, people eventually healers will understand to just not dispel Virulent Plague, especially if they have this. But you don't have to take this. If you want to play more defensive, you can take Anti-Magic Zone, but this is the row where you want to customize your playstyle. So this is where you would be like, okay, I want to take Aura, or I want to take, you know, Crypt Fever, or I guess this is the row where you pick your like defensive line if you need to. And of course, on the final row, Necrotic Strike is a must, guys. It's so strong. So that is the setup that I'm using right now in Arena. I do want to tell you guys though, in 3v3, I'm not joking, Wandering Plague is doing so much damage. Like, it's disgusting. I do believe it's overtuned, but the amount of damage this ability is doing right now is disgusting. Now that, paired up with Unholy Mutation, so honestly for 3v3, I'll be running this. That is amazing. Like, you're doing so much play damage, and I'm not even joking. Like, go hop into a 3v3 and run this setup. It is disgusting. You'll just see the amount of damage that goes out passively. And yeah, that's going to be my Arena talents, guys. Let's get into the BG talents. Not much changes, guys, in terms of our talents for BGs, but everyone, I mean everyone, is saying how good Unholy is in BGs right now. And that is due to a bit of overtuning for Unholy's diseases, and just the fact of how strong our PvP talents are. So in terms of your actual talents, nothing changes besides you picking up Epidemic, okay? Now Epidemic is something that it costs runic power now, so you can spam it, and you want to be basically not using Death Coils at all in BGs unless you're killing a priority target, and you're using Epidemic all the time. Put Virulent Plague on everything you possibly can, and spam Epidemic. Now, these three talents are going to buff the living shit out of your Virulent Plague. You've got Wandering Plague, right? You've got Unholy Mutation, which when expires, if you get on 10 people and it expires, it's going to be doing 400% of normal eruption damage on everything that you put it on. It's disgusting. And then you have Pandemic. When you use Outbreak, it applies 307 shadow damage, and the duration of your diseases on them are refreshed. So, just disgusting. Like, on top of your Virulent Plague, you have Epidemic spamming as well. And guys, if you do not go to the top of the damage meters with this build, there's something wrong. This is doing so much work in BGs. Try it out, and trust me, you'll have loads of fun with this build, and you'll feel a lot more unholy, if you get what I mean. No more like bursting swords, single target damage. Very plaguey kind of style, and I like it. I really do enjoy it. So without further ado, I think that actually is both talent setups done now. Let's get into some clips, guys, showcasing Unholy. Okay, first game, guys, is going to be against the Frost Mage sub-rogue. Just a skirm, but I want to show you something specific. So my warrior goes way too ham and gets one shot in the opener. I have a rogue and a mage left. So I have my Virulent Plague on the rogue. Now watch as Virulent Plague drops off. I'm going to show you, this is basically showing you guys Unholy Mutation, how much damage it does when it pops. Right, it's going to pop in 2 seconds, 1, and then boom. So significant amount of damage, and I do end up winning this game because, yeah, they're on full defense, and it's a mage against Death Knight, so easy time. Next game, halfway through the middle of the game, guys, it's going to be against a Frost Mage and Disc Priest. So Frost Mages are actually a lot stronger in Arena than they were before, and basically just showcasing to you damage. Damage is very important. So if you look at the bottom right, that's my details meter. I've actually taken all serve, and I'm making sure that it doesn't bug, and if it does, I resummon it. I'm just losing the mage here because my my healer got put into a full poly and fear, but still keeping up pressure with Virulent Plague on both targets. So as you can see, the priest is struggling to keep up both him and the mage. I interrupt him, I use my pet stun, I use my death grip to stop glacial spike damage because glacial spike damage is really OP. Here, a problem with Unholy right now is that we cannot get out of roots. We rely very much on the spells. I pet kick the priest there, then I use my mind freeze to kick him secondly, and just getting pressure, guys. And Necrotic Strike is really strong right now. It's doing a sizable amount of absorb healing, which is really, really great. And here they're in a lot of trouble. Frozen Orb damage really, really hurts, so it's very important to dodge that. And if you're not rooted when Frozen Orb goes out, you're in a good spot. So I use Apocalypse here. The ghouls come up, and he just spams Polymorph on me, which is fine. He almost drops there. And as long as I keep up pressure on this team, we're fine because the enemy Disc Priest is I'm doing so much damage, guys. I've basically doubled the Frost Mage's damage, and here it's just a clear cut finish. I accidentally Fat Finger Death Grip here, but I didn't mean to, and I would have used it to like interrupt one of the Disc Priest heals, but I think it's good that I did because, yeah, they're out of mana and everything, so pretty straightforward game. Oh, by the way, all these games are at around like 2k 2100 MMR, nothing crazy. I just wanted to show you guys some clips, which is very important. And yeah, there's a damage breakdown. So yeah, pretty much against casters, Unholy is still very strong. This game we're playing against the double DPS comp. This was in rated, I believe, as well. Basically, just watch the hunter's health. I don't even touch him, okay? So Virulent Plague's on him, Wandering Plague's on him, and I leave him. Now watch his HP. So I'm just gonna like basically peel for my rogue using my pet immobilization. I'm blinded here, I have no trinket, so using my pet immobilization here and pet stun to just give this priest some space. Remember, your pet is still very, very important. The hunter's back down like around quarter HP, runs in at quarter HP, and then has to freaking bubble. So that was very, very easy. Otherwise, yeah, straightforward. And the rogue is getting feared, and this game is pretty much donezo's, guys. But the hunter was kiting me right around the outside, and he went down to quarter HP. Just my diseases alone. I never connected on him. I never Apocalypse and set my ghouls after him. My pet might have been hitting him, but yeah. And one thing to note as well is your pet's damage is a lot higher. Our pet's doing a lot more damage, which is really, really great. And here we're playing against a warrior and a Disc Priest. Now look at my opening damage on the warrior. I pet kick that heal, and I asphyxiate right after the pet kick situation is done. So he comes over to come fear maybe, and I connect with him there. My Disc Priest has a really good move and mind controls him off the edge, which is really great. Heroic Leap and fears me off, but now I have so much pressure on this warrior. I kick that heal, and I bring the warrior back over. Questionable move there. I could have actually just kept him in a distance away, but it's fine. I use my Belf Silence, this is my ult DK by the way, to get rid of the shield on the warrior, and now I'm just buttering him up. Does a lot of damage to me, and I actually get pretty low here. IBF and use my Death Pact. So now I'm using Death's Advance to just kite the warrior. There's no reason for me to be in melee range of this guy, and he's doing a lot of spread pressure at the moment, so I see that he charged my Disc Priest, so I pull him back, which is really great. And here they actually get in a lot of trouble. I stun the Disc Priest while he's on the other side of the bridge, and just watch this damage here. So your pet's auto attack damage is very, very strong at the moment as well. I pet kick that Disc Priest Shadow Mend, and I still have Mind Freeze available, so like this is really good. They're stacked. I get dispelled here, pet kick that Mind Freeze the Shadow Mend, and this is pretty much GG. Whereas like the priest was not respecting my kicks, and he fell way too far behind. Here I'm playing against a fellow Unholy Death Knight and a Disc Priest. Now watch this burst damage, boys. Okay, he doesn't pop a single defensive, but you're gonna see why. So look, the bursting rotation is Unholy Frenzy, Dark Transformation, Apocalypse, and then you just want to break your wounds. I didn't even use Soul Reaper here as well. So my priest goes to fear, and I thought my priest wasn't going to fear, so I asphyxiated him anyway, but the guy goes down. So Dark Transformation working up to your target, Unholy Frenzy, Festering, Apocalypse, Death Coil, and then just burst your wounds. Again, another warrior comp, playing against a warrior. Just watching the Disc Priest positioning here. I could have pet kicked here, I don't know why I didn't. I could have pet kicked his Holy and then kicked his Shadow Mends. The warrior gets a little bit overzealous here and pushes way too far out. I get disarmed here, which is okay, but the warrior is just spamming Shadow Men on him, so I decided to like swap over a little bit and get some pressure on the priest. And the priest is really struggling to top his warrior up. And this is a really good position for me to fight the priest within kick range. So if you always want to try and drag over your target next to the healer, so you can constantly just keep kicking. And he just goes down here, guys. There's so much damage, and my Disc Priest is doing some redonkulous amounts of damage. Disc Priests are definitely overtuned. Next clip against a sub-rogue and a disc priest. Sub-rogue is okay. Assassination is completely busted right now, but you're going to see the sub damage. So priest jumps down, so it's a perfect situation for me to smash this rogue. And now the priest is actually on a different level. He's not in Loz of the rogue, so I'm pulling him out of Loz. This is really good. If I can drag him down to the other ramp, that'd be really great as well. My pet kick, I can no longer use pet kick now, but I still have mind freeze available. He cloaks, so I decided to like dot up the priest, and I'm back on him with festering strikes. I kick that mind control because I have no AMS to get out of that mind control. He bombs here, AMS to get the shield off. Now he's pain supped, which is fine, and I'm basically just still hitting him, getting necrotic strike stacks to kind of nullify that pain suppression. And the priest is seriously struggling to actually top him off. Priest trade out fears, and I am in a really good spot here. I got Dark Transformation coming off cooldown, and I have Mind Freeze available, boys, so this is really good. Stun the priest here, and goodbye. Road. Now this is my damage breakdown, guys, for this game. Look at the Virulent Plague damage, look at my melee damage, and then look at my pet's melee damage. Our pet's damage is so important. Look at it, it's almost beating my damage. Death Coil is like one of our lowest hitting abilities now, and it just shows you how important Virulent Plague and melee attacks are. So here we're playing against the Rep Paladin, and apparently this priest is, like my friend was telling me, he's 2500 Shadow Priest from Frostmourne. I'm not sure, but on the Paladin really hard here, eyes for an eye, and I'm just looking to kick or stun the priest. There isn't a stun. He gets pain subbed here, which is very interesting, even though he saw his bubble as well, and he's just losing his priest right now, but I think he really wants that kill. My priest gets away and does a very good move here. I grip him away, and he freaking life grips me back to the other side, which is really great. Paladin bubble is now down, and I'm back on him. So I still have BF. I pop it here just to kind of sustain this damage, because I know I'm going for the kill in the next few minutes. Well, the next few seconds, I guess. So I'm just keeping this priest under control. I have Mind Freeze available. He tries to juke me there, but doesn't respect my damage on his paladin. And watch what happens here. My priest is looking for a cheeky mind control, and he mind controls the Rep Paladin off, which is great. It's adding another dimension to the game. Here he's lost from his healer, gets some nice damage out, some nice necrotic stacks, and he mind controls the priest off the other side. Now, I am really stupid here. I stun the priest and I fall off. I don't know what I was doing. So the priest actually gets his fear off on the enemy healer, and that's pretty much game, boys. I'm going to kick this heal, and I pretty much want to use Death Grip here to get the paladin back in range and kill him, and GG. That's the breakdown for that game, and guys, look how much damage Virulent Plague is doing. It's disgusting. So yeah, honestly, I'm happy with how Unholy is doing at the moment, guys. Just from these arenas as well. I don't want to show you any Battleground footage because it's really straightforward what you do as Unholy in Battlegrounds, but if you do want to see footage for Battlegrounds, comment down below and I'll definitely get onto it. But thank you very much for watching, guys. This is going to be the end of the video. Please give it a thumbs up and hit the bell notifications so that you can see more Unholy DK videos as BFA approaches, and leave a comment about your opinion of Unholy in PvP at the moment. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Follow me on social media at MFWest WoW. And thanks for watching. Stay unholy and peace.